Thank you, John. Good morning, everybody. Well, John, I think this answers the question. When we first started talking about having meetings here, the thought was there probably wouldn't be enough people to even fill a table, let alone the entire room, to have a discussion over the middle of the summer. I can see we were wrong. There's a lot of you out there. I'll be glad to have you here. Let me just kind of walk you through what we're going to do today, what the plans are for the future, and we just take it from there. We're planning on having weekly meetings from this day forward for the next 2 or 3 months, just to update you on what's going on, where we are in the process, the whole bit. Today's the kickoff meeting. We've got enough information now that we think we can come in front of you and have an intelligent conversation. We still got some questions we need to answer, but at least we're heading in the right direction. As of today, before we even get started, we have 46 people that have already purchased. And we will update you every week as we get into that, so that people know where you are. I want to talk about the contract real. First off, how many were here when we had the meetings in the spring? Okay, and how many is this? This is your first meeting. Okay, there's a few of those too. Great. The decision was we had those meetings in the spring to talk about the process, to talk about what it would mean to be resident-owned, to see if you'd be interested in getting more information, to see if it made sense. Well, we've now to the point where we've got the information. We have a signed contract with the owner. And just to kind of give you the highlights on that contract, the owner, when we first started talking with him, said, yeah, we consider a sale, and here's our appraisal. They had just had an appraisal done by the bank, not by the owner, but by the lender, for $3.7 million. Your committee that you put together, by the way, your board is really strong. We've been doing this for 20 some odd years. I know somebody kind of said derogatorily that they didn't have much strength. They're a weak board. Nothing could be further from the truth. On your board, you have people that own their own business. You have attorneys. You have developers. You have real estate brokers. You've got all the things that you need, plant managers, all the things that you need to be successful. And I can tell you that in the 20-some years of negotiating, I've never seen more shrewd negotiators than them. Here was an owner that was looking for $3.7 million. Your board was able to get him down to $3.2 million. And he had an appraisal for his lots for bulk sale, $17,600. Your board was able to get them down to under $8,000 for each of those. So their negotiations saved you about $800,000 over what the appraisal was. So they did a remarkable job, and I tell you, it was frustrating from my standpoint. I kept thinking, there's got to be a deal out there, there's got to be a deal out there, and John kept saying, yeah, we know what the deal is, and it's right at these numbers, and we held firm to it. So they did a remarkable job. By the way, for those of you that are new here, the reason we talked about maybe this made sense for you to do it, for the residents to own it, there were 3 basic reasons. Reason number 1 was location. And you've got a strong location in Central Florida, at the corner of I-4 and US 27. There's a great location, been growing very rapidly. Now recently it hasn't grown. Florida hasn't grown, and real estate in general hasn't. But if you talk to the Florida Association of Realtors, they'll tell you it's starting to come back. The second reason you should do it is to control your destiny. Controlling your destiny means you get to make the decisions on how the golf course is run, how the clubhouses are maintained, what the amenities fees are going to be, how you're going to charge those, what services you're going to have. More importantly, as John says, the wow factor, what you're going to do to make the place shine again. Because you all have a vested interest in keeping it up and making it look as good as possible. I went out and looked at the golf course the other day, and I got to tell you, your owner does not have his heart in running a golf course. He just does not. He sold his lots, he's made his money, and you're going to just get more of the same, I think, if he stays in as the owner. The third reason you ought to consider it is value. Florida values have not been going up, but they have stabilized in the last year. They've started to bump just a little bit, but they've gone steadily down for about the 4 or 5 years before that. Values appear to be heading back, but I got to tell you, given the condition of the golf course and what's going on in here, unless you guys do something about it, I don't think it's going to look good. An outside investor is going to look at you and say, wait a minute, yeah, that property is not being properly maintained, why would I want to own it there? So part of the value is you can bring the value back by you guys being the owners and having a vested interest in it. And as to the future of the golf course, I think you just have to look at the present to see what the future looks like on that. I don't think that looks good.
Back to the golf course out there. There's a lot of people that don't like the golf course because they don't play golf, especially down in the point down here. A lot of people don't like that. Well, the thing is, I talked to a couple of relatives. The relatives said, two to be exact, and I asked them, hypothetically, if that golf course becomes a dog run and it's finished, what happens to the park? Well, two things happen to the park. People down in Regal Ridge that live on the golf course, it's got $250,000, $300,000 houses down there. They call them stick-built. Keep that word in mind.
Good point.
He said that is going to downhill. He says you're going to lose 25 to 35% if that golf course goes. People in the back is going to lose 15 to 25%. That's already on the hit that you've already taken down there. He says what's going to happen is that place is going to become a trailer park.
I got to tell you that I think you're faced with a pretty clear choice. Your clear choice is number one, you can accept the status quo, and you have an owner that's told you that amenities fees will go up. You have an owner that showed you through the way he's operating the golf course what the future of the golf course is, and he's going to be disinterested. He's going to get all his money out on the refinance, and then he'll, in my opinion, he'll just milk it. Or for a $3,000 investment, you can be the owners and you can make the decision. I think that control your destiny and have a say-so on what happens. And I think the choice is pretty clear, but you know, it's your choice to make. We told you we'd give you the facts and let you make the decision, and now's the time for you to start making your decisions. Okay, then over here, ma'am.
Okay, I'll keep my questions to the 2 minutes, but first I'd like to say one little thing. I think we all should really appreciate the people that's on this diligence committee, because they're just like our homeowners association board. They're not paid, they're spending all this time, and I'm really glad to hear we have such knowledgeable people on that, and I think we should appreciate it.
If I can paraphrase real quick for the folks on the phone, because they can't hear you. The comment was we ought to appreciate the unpaid volunteers who are doing all this work to give you the opportunity, and that's what the class is for.
And we appreciated that they're so knowledgeable. I didn't know we had so many great people in here.
Yeah, you do have very knowledgeable people, that's
Yes.
absolutely true. Your board is very, very knowledgeable. All right, well, appreciate y'all coming out. We're going to get together next Wednesday at 7 o'clock here with the people that can't make it during the day, and we'll answer any more questions you have if you want to have to stick around.